Hi, I'm Johnny. This is Johnny Likes, the show where I talk about movies that I like. Today I'm talking about an early 2000s horror film that I didn't initially care for. Today, Johnny likes Jeepers Creepers.
Tell the world.
Jeepers Creepers was written and directed by Victor Salva, and it stars Justin Long and Gina Phillips as a brother and sister who are on a road trip to go visit their parents. Things quickly get derailed as they almost get run off the road by a monstrous old beater of a truck. They think that's the end of it until they see the truck's occupant at a church doing something very sketchy looking and decide to go investigate. What they find is very bad, and they soon find that something evil has taken quite the liking to them. I saw this one in the theater, and I remember thinking that it was alright, mostly. Nothing special, nothing memorable. Also, that it had kind of a dumb name. I never have really liked the name Jeepers Creepers. I watched it for the first time since then, and it worked a lot better for me this time. Justin Long is really good in horror movies. He was great in Tusk and in Barbarian. This was his first horror movie and his first leading role, and he pretty much has his whole shtick just kind of nailed out of the gate. He has this likable quality to him, and I didn't want to see him get killed, even when he was being kind of douchey and a little bit of an ass. Gina Phillips was fun to watch as well. I'm not familiar with her outside of this, but she seemed very much like an older sister. She was protective of Long, but she also valued her privacy. I bought into their sibling energy, and I thought it was a wise choice to make them brother-sister instead of boyfriend-girlfriend, as that would have changed the dynamic between them, and I don't think it would have worked as well. I really like the opening scene in this film. It starts with Long and Phillips in an old car driving down a rural highway. They are playing a license plate game, and are just generally chit-chatting and having a good time. Then we get this wonderful shot where we can see through the windshield to the rear of the car. We can just make out a blurred vehicle way off in the distance behind them. We watch as it approaches at an alarming rate, becoming clearer and larger. It takes them by surprise and freaks them out once they realize it's there. It's honking, it's swerving, it's just being a general menace. Eventually it passes them and everyone is left unharmed, but also a little bit unnerved. This was a great opener because it established our characters' dynamics. Who they are, where they are going, how they relate to one another, and a little bit about their personalities. It also sets up the bad guy for the film quite well. We don't see him, we don't know what he looks like, we don't know anything about him other than he drives like a psycho. In a continuation of the opening scene, we get one of those great moments where characters have to do something scary. They don't want to do something scary, but they know they have to do something scary.
Okay, you know the part in scary movies where somebody does something really stupid and everybody hates them for it? This is it.
And as an audience member, you gotta agree with her. It was a nice meta moment that didn't feel Scream-inspired for once. I love these kind of moments where characters are forced into doing something scary even though they know it's a bad idea. And from there, the tension just keeps on rising as we get creepy scene after creepy scene. Eventually, it is revealed that this is not just a man, but some sort of creature or monster. And I love that we never learn much about the creature other than a little bit of lore at the very end of the film. And the creature looked really cool. It looked like a mixture of a demon and a bat and like a xenomorph from Alien. It's a formidable foe and was quite intimidating. The special effects in this were great. Not just the monster, although the monster was excellent, but also underneath the church, and when Long and Phillips attack the creature in the road. That was all wonderfully done, gruesome stuff. Some of the dialogue and acting in this were a little bit awkward at times, generally when the siblings had to deal with anyone other than each other. As soon as you introduced another party into the equation, it just kind of fell apart a little bit for me. It wasn't the worst acting in the world or anything, it just felt a little bit forced. It was much more natural when it was just the two of them, or just one of them. This is also a wonderful looking film. There's tons of wonderful cinematography and creepy kind of rural shots here. I got some spoilery questions about the creature that just ran through my head after I watched the movie. So this thing eats every 23rd spring for 23 days. That's the lore we learn at the end of the film. That's the kind of gist of the creature. Rest of the time it hibernates, I guess. So when did this thing learn to drive? Where does it store its truck? Does it do its own maintenance on the truck? And if so, when did it learn how to do maintenance on a truck? When did it booby-trap the truck? The 23 days of feeding thing, is that an exact 23 days, or is it more of an estimate? And if it flies over an international date line, how does that work? Does it affect it at all? If he's eating when the 23 days are technically over, does he have to spit out what's in his mouth, or can he swallow the food? And if he does swallow the food and he's not supposed to, what are the consequences to that? None of this stuff actually bothers me about the film, it's just kind of curiosity. When there's a supernatural creature with, rules attached, these logistical types of questions naturally cross one's mind. But I try to ignore them so I can let the movie happen and enjoy myself. I call this kind of the Gremlins rule of creatures. I, like many others, overlooked this movie when it first came out. And that's too bad, as this is a very well-made and technically proficient horror movie. And I had a blast giving it a rewatch. So if you're looking for a fun, better-than-average horror movie from around 2000, I would look no further. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. Other movies to check out if you like this. Try out Slither. It's another creature feature. Check out The Others. It's a great ghost story from the same year. And check out Jeepers Creepers 2. It is quite good as well, and it's from the writer-director of this, Victor Salva. So what did you guys think of the movie? What do you guys want to hear me talk about? Let me know in the comments, and if you could do me a favor and like and subscribe. It is quick, it's free, and it's relatively painless, plus it helps me out. Thanks for watching me talk about movies for a little while, and you can tune in next time to see what else Johnny likes.